want to talk to you about something that I don't know if you're aware of because it's so blatantly commonsensical. No, I can do this with one hand. Okay, so you're who you are, right? Like, you're not trying to change your, the essence of who you are to be somebody else, correct? If you are, then, this video isn't for you. But you are who you are, right? Like, you've been this person that you are for as long as you've been a person. Like, you're this person. You've grown and all that, but you're still you. And I don't mean like, the same behavior, the same patterns, the same kind of way of thinking. None of that stuff. The essence of who you are has remained who you are, right? Regardless of your name, your gender, your physical body, or anything you've done. So, doesn't that mean that everything you're trying to manifest, everything you're trying to do, like let's say you have this image of yourself in your mind, but your physical body isn't the same as that image. It's different. Let's say you're trying to have brown hair, but your hair color keeps turning red. When you close your eyes and you're just being with yourself, what color hair does that person have? So if the person you are has that color hair already, why are you dyeing your hair? Like, you're trying to match it to an image of yourself that you have, right? Why aren't you already that image? Why do you even have to manifest anything? You're the universe, aren't you? You're like a child of God, an aspect of God, however you want to look at it. You're connected to a divine source that knows everything, right? Why do you even have to ask? Think about it. If you are who you are, why are you living a life or doing anything that needs to validate who you are to you? Does the person you are, at your core, regardless of what your reality shows you, when you close your eyes and you're with yourself, do you have a car? And when you open your eyes, do you have a car? Now, is it the same car if you have a car? Now, in my case, I don't have a car. But when I close my eyes, I can fly. I don't need a car. So why do I even need a car? And that's the block to why I don't have a car. And then you follow that into, well, if you can fly, why don't you already? That goes into another block. Congratulations, you found blocks. You have to find the most commonsensical thing you're not looking at, the most obvious thing. Why are you trying to manifest something as simple as hair color or food for dinner? You're the universe itself, right? You're always manifesting. Shouldn't the food already be there? Like, you knew every day, the day before, that you were going to need food the next day. Subconsciously, you don't even have to think about it. It's kind of become like autopilot. So why isn't food just appearing on your plate? Do you see the cognitive dissonance between the common sense logic of what the universe is and how things should be, compared to having to go get a box of hair color to dye your hair? Like, it's nonsensical. Like, how can this reality be so slowed down that we have to get up and stir a pot, or get up and, mix developer with hair cream, or like get up and vacuum the floor? Like, It's nonsensical, kind of, isn't it? Especially if you apply the laws of the reality, whichever laws you want to look at, from physics to the spiritual laws, to the laws of the elements. Things just don't make sense here, do they? If everything is connected, why can't I just move everything that I am through some kind of other living thing to another living location? Like a teleport pad. I'm just water and information and light, right? Why isn't that able to move through that light source into the next room's light source? Theoretically, it's all energy, isn't it? Now, if I want to get my hair to pure white, but the hair naturally turns white as you age, supposedly, right? But there are some kids and teenagers, like my hair started going white and in patches almost when I was 8 to 13. My hair started going white, and like, but the rest of it didn't. I still have little arm hairs that are black. So why? Why do I have to go bleach my hair to get the color out of it so it's like more even, instead of having black and white hair? Like, why would I have to do that? My true authentic self has a certain hair color, right? Like when I think of myself, I look a certain way, I feel a certain way. I have a certain kind of lifestyle, and animal companions and clothing and whatever else. But when I open my eyes, I'm in an apartment in the middle of a place I don't really know, and I don't have a car, and my body doesn't look anything like it's supposed to. What's the problem? So now when we really look at reality like this, right, a lot of energy comes to our mind regarding sabotage, diseases, illnesses, stresses, experiences. We come up with all of those reasons. But then the other part is like, it's, yourself doing it to yourself. So you've manifested it into all these different blocks and all these different, like a labyrinth. This entrance here, that entrance there, but it's all blocked, it's all closed, it's all in a different direction. Just to keep, ourselves avoidant of the main issue. Kind of like thinking the center of the universe or center of the Milky Way galaxy is just a shining star. Well, what if it's a living being shining so bright, and it's dancing and it's spinning the entire cosmos around it? What if? And if I imagine it, doesn't it make it real right now in my universe? How does that work? And if we apply all these laws, all these fact-based, scientifically repeatable things, and apply them to consciousness itself and say consciousness imagined all this, and this is the rationality behind how consciousness imagined it, then why, oh why, are we sitting here in human bodies pretending we need to go get food? It doesn't make sense to me at all. And earlier today, when I was thinking about this, my neighbor called me and she was like, come over and get a plate of food. And I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. Last night I was thinking how life is a fucking joke. Like nothing works, no matter how much you try to manifest something and be like, I'm gonna charge head first into reality. Or you try to do it the Piscean way and you go about it in every single fucking way that you can until something works. Or you do the Sagittarian thing where you just focus in on one thing and you do it repeatedly like insanity until something changes. And eventually something will, because Sagittarius is intelligent. They eventually learn that kindness is the way. Like, there's always something that happens regardless of what's going on. And it's always to benefit, right? It's always for the growth and expansion of each individual soul. So if we can imagine as far out into foresight as the entire galaxy, solar system. The solar system is one being. So the sun is a being, and it's dancing so brightly and vibrating so high that its auric field is a massive sun. And let's say the universe, the Milky Way, is a being that is vibrating so highly that it can contain all these other life forms within it. Kind of like the Earth, right? But those beings vibrate so high that they're not a planet anymore. Or at least from what we can see, they're not a planet because it's too bright around them. We can't see what's in the center. Kind of like when somebody's pointing a flashlight in your eye, you can't see the light bulb, but you know there's a light bulb there. So if all the light is coming from there, that means there's something there emitting that light, doesn't it? And if there's a bunch of darkness somewhere, that means there's something there that's consuming the light, doesn't it? And that it's something that's dark. But it's not destroying the light, it's consuming it. Which means there has to be something that is conscious in both those things. So all of this consciousness exists everywhere. Why do we have to go about these little human motions? I apologize for clearing my throat so much. I don't know what's going on with my throat the past few weeks. It's like my voice keeps changing and I keep sounding different every day, and it's almost like I'm relearning how to speak properly. Even my lips feel different. I haven't been able to move my mouth in the my regular way at all. I'm aware of more muscles in my face, if that makes any more sense. If that makes any sense. I'm aware of far more muscles in my face than I was before. Do you see, though, that all of these little motions that we go through, it's like walking through a maze, right? If we just stop walking through a maze, we don't have to walk through it anymore. We can remote view the maze. We can fly up in the maze. We can climb over the fucking walls. Just because there's walls and detours doesn't mean that the direction we're going is the right one or the wrong one. Because they're leading, every direction is being led somewhere. Everything you're doing is leading you towards something. But if you're the universe, which you are, or if you're connected to the universe, which you are, even if you're disconnected from the universe, you're still connected. You just arrogantly tell yourself you're disconnected. There's a reason for everything you're doing, and all that connection means that some higher form of intelligence constantly knows what you need, want, will ask for, will do, and knows every single choice you'll make. Even if you don't make those choices, those other probable outcomes are still registered within the mind of God, Source, everything. So why do you have to ask or do anything? All of human history has been ass backwards. This is the Empress vibe. You do not have to ask for anything. Simply stop moving in any direction and allow the universal movement that's constantly occurring to occur through you and around you. Make sense? I didn't want to cook dinner today, and I got dinner because I refused to even acknowledge the process of making dinner. I'm not doing it. God knows I need to eat. God knows this body has needs. God will provide. I'm not cooking. And I was arrogant about it. I utilized an emotion in that people tell you to downplay, to dismiss, to transmute. And I said, fuck you. No, I won't. I'm going to use that arrogance. I'm going to use that pride. And I'm going to sit next to God and say, God, what else you got for me? And that seems to be working. It's almost as if God, in all of its intelligence, wants everybody to be a little fucking bratty and expect things done for them instead of having to do things for God. Because by expecting things to be done for you by God, you are bringing the God within you to a sacred space within you, a holy area within your being that says, I will not bow down before the construct of my reality and say that the God within me is so feeble that I have to go stir rice in a bowl. It will come because God said so. Can you even imagine if one person every 1,000 miles stood within their own divine birthright and really looked their own God in the metaphoric eyes and said, you said that you would provide. I'm standing here and I'm allowing you to prove yourself right. Don't bow down. Don't bow your head. Don't bend your knee. You are God. You are the child of God. Would you bow before your father or mother? Get up. You are divinity in flesh and you want to bow? For what? Your family? Pish posh. Pish posh. You deserve everything in life. Everything. Because you exist. And you know what's been keeping people from that? You know what was keeping me from that? Had to clear my throat for that one. What was keeping me from that is being told that feeling entitled was wrong. So because I'm a good person, right? To a freaking terrible fault kind of point, it was bad. Because I was constantly trying to release all the negative emotions in me so that no negative behavior even existed. And you know what that did to me? It made me scrub people's toilets for them, clean their carpets, organize their cabinets, clean their laundry for people that, like, it wouldn't matter if I existed or not. There would, like, a robot could do what I was doing. It wouldn't, I was irrelevant. You know what was needed? Not confidence or self-love or sitting there and like affirming to myself for 1,000 years, or opening my heart chakra and like balancing my energy systems and watching 1,000 card readings and making 1,000 card readings. No. How can I possibly come in front of the world and sit here and tell you and really blatantly be like, God is everything, you're God, and then tell you you need to manifest this and you need to manifest that and this is how you got to do it? Every card reading I've done has been to point you towards what you've been blocking out of your life. Every single one. Go watch them. I've been watching a few of them and I'm like, the message in all of these, the moral, the energy in all of them has been completely to bring people back to God within them. God wouldn't do the things people do in relationships to each other. God wouldn't treat the people in the world the way people in the world are treating each other, from any form of society to any neighborhood. God would not do any of these things to itself. God wouldn't sit there saying it's poor, or that it's unhealthy, or that it has bills, or that so-and-so is sick, or sit there and gossiping, or forming covens and doing horrible shit to innocent people. Like, God wouldn't do any of that. Goddess wouldn't do any of that. Hecate wouldn't do any of that. Then Lilith sure the fuck wouldn't do any of that as the first woman. The first. Do you know what that means? I'm going to make a video about this later. I have gone and dug into the depths so much. I sat with her. The first woman literally means the first woman. The first thing. The first being. The first corporeal flesh of any existence. Anywhere. In any reality. The first. The first womb. From that came the mate. From that mate came a more subservient mate. And from that more subservient mate came an entire species of subservience. And the entire cosmos. And the story echoed through the genetics. And the blueprint like a recipe for cookies being scattered across the multiverses. Here's how you make cookies. You just add this, you remove that, and then you activate that. And then here you go. A generic human species. Humanoid form. It can self-replicate. It can create for itself. And it can survive in any climate. It can acclimate to the 4 elements. And it is always connected to spirit. And it can communicate in any fashion. And it can locate itself anywhere as long as there's light and energy. For frequencies and vibrations. That's what that is. And you can fill in the blanks from that yourself with all the histories and mythologies. Now back to the other point. You are this infinite being, right? And if you don't want to claim that due to a sense of entitlement or feebleness, it's okay. You can look at yourself as a child of the divine. As to a child of Father God or Mother Goddess or whatever you want to call it. Now you are their child, right? And if you don't believe in a God, that's fine too. Let's say you're a total scientist and you're an atheist and you're like, nothing exists but numbers and chemicals and plasma, bro. Okay, that's fine. You can think about that too. But we can all agree that our thoughts and our emotions manifest externally of us as things and experiences. Because there is a morphic field we're interacting with, correct? We're making that morphic field bring us things and manifest into things. And our field connects with other fields into the unified field, correct? Correct. So why do you have to do anything? Isn't your mind and a simple gesture enough? Notice all the things that come up in your mind to dissuade you and confuse you from this common sense point. Notice it. Don't fight it. It's part of your shadow self. Observe how your shadow self is telling you if something is truth or lies, or how it is flawed. Observe it. Observe the voice inside you that is telling you that I'm lying to you. Listen to that voice for just a minute. Listen to the shadow. Listen to the snake. Listen to the accuser. Listen. If you're divine, then you have no problem listening, do you? If you're a scientist, you have no problem listening to the shadow for a minute, do you? Pay attention to that vibration. That feeling that always has you given to doubt. Where truth could be brought to you like a little bird by a fairy and you wouldn't even believe the fairy is bringing you the bird. You would just see feathers falling on the floor and a bird flying off. It's like the last unicorn. Humans don't even see unicorns anymore, even if they were right in front of them. Why? because there's a part of you that has allowed yourself to believe that nothing really matters. Kind of stings, doesn't it? It's like an echo in a deep well. Nothing matters. That's why you cook. That's why you dye your hair. That's why you have a car. That's why you don't have a car. Because nothing matters. Think about it. Really feel that vibration. That complete despair filled, hopeless. Be aware of it. Let it flow through you. It is something within you that's been trapped. We're letting it out. You're fine. Nothing matters, right? All the suffering I went through, no other doors opened. God wasn't there replacing one thing with the next. I didn't even get a couch back. What I got back instead is teeth taken out of my mouth. What I got instead is my body being completely ass backwards. What I got instead is being alone and isolated before there was any lockdown. What I got instead was everybody I thought was a friend was an enemy, and people I thought were enemies were friends. None of it mattered the way I thought it mattered. At all. I keep dyeing my hair and it doesn't come out the right color. But if I dye somebody else's hair, it comes out the right color instantly. Why? I can keep cooking for myself for 40 years, 40 more, 400 more. What's the point? Nothing really matters, does it? It's just prolonging the inevitable. Okay, so what happens after the inevitable? We're in empty nothingness, right? Before we even go to a heaven or a hell, we go to a blank TV screen turning off. So what happens then? Does anything matter at that point? And no, none of those things about being a good person matter. Just for now, nothing matters. Nothing. The biggest sinner can have the happiest death. The biggest, saint can have the worst death. And in the afterlife, they can be alone and just have their angels with them. It doesn't matter. Any experience is possible to the mind of God. To you right now, nothing really matters, right? At your core, you know this. That's why you allow mistakes to happen. That's why you don't pick up after yourself. That's why you don't apologize. That's why you don't go the extra step. That's why you don't have this, and that's why you do have that. Because you may as well have it. Nothing matters. You may as well have those billions. Who the fuck cares? It's all pointless. You may as well be, homeless. Who cares? It's all pointless. Doesn't matter where on the spectrum, every living being has the same fucking shadow. Nothing really matters. Madonna even sang about it years ago. Many, many, many have sang about it. And you gotta comprehend this for yourself. When you realize and accept that there's a part of you that says nothing really matters, do you know what happens? You start allowing everything to happen. You start living life to enjoy what does matter right now to you in this moment. In the very sensation of smiling, does it matter to you that you're frowning or smiling right now? Does it matter to you that you're hungry or not hungry right now? Does it matter to you that you haven't spoken to so-and-so or that you haven't done this and that right now? Does that matter to you? If not, what does matter to you right now? not what would give you relief of anger, not what would give you fucking, an energy out of your body, like being horny or being hungry or being angry or being whatever, right? Doesn't matter. Right now, what would help you look at your environment right where you are without moving your body, without getting up to do anything? Right now, what can you do that would help you feel like this fucking moment matters? Think about it. And then think about all the reasons why you're not doing those things. And then pay attention to that voice that tells you and persuades you to not do what matters to you, because it convinces you again and again and again that it doesn't matter. And then turn the tables. Well, if it doesn't matter, what does matter? Go on, shadow side. Have your say. If so-and-so is true, then what matters? If so-and-so is so terrible, then what's the truth? If, you're self-criticizing yourself constantly, then what is the truth? What can you do better? Come on, shadow side, be the advisor. It's your job, isn't it? Do your job. The shadow side's job is to advise the light on how the light is being too fucking prissy when it boils down to it. Thank you. And the light side is to keep the shadow side in check when the shadow side gets too bitchy. And together they have a fully functioning experience. But if you're going to keep arguing back and forth between those 2 points and not realize that both of them are the same, behind the duality of something matters, nothing matters. When you can look at it, when you can accept that everybody knows this and feels this, nothing really matters, then we can really hit the reset button. Because then we get to decide moment by moment, breath by breath, what really does matter. Right? You know this. I've been speaking for 33 minutes almost for this, and it's something you already know. That's why you feel kind of sick thinking about it. Like there's a nauseous feeling in me. You feel that, right? It's like an exhaustion of fucking common sense. Feel that. Sit with it. Really let yourself experience what it's like to have wasted your entire fucking life on shit that doesn't matter. Just sit with it. Because it fucking sucks. And in all those times you cried, all those times you were angry, all those times people lied to you, oh my God, all those times people stole from you, all the shit you don't even know that you went through, oh my God, and all the things you blocked out, and then all the experiences you didn't write down but you told yourself you were going to remember, and you forgot those too. Man. You see? I'm telling you, we all have this. And I looked mine in the face this morning in a dream. I was sitting with God, what God made itself look like to me. And it wasn't an entity. It was something only I would recognize. That's how I knew it was Source. I mean, really. And I don't think I'm ever going to talk about this to anybody other than what I'm about to tell you. We sat there and it told me, nothing matters. Don't you remember? Why aren't you having fun? This is supposed to be joyful. Get off your ass. Stop being such a little bitch. And enjoy this fucking mess. And I sat there looking at this thing that wasn't a thing. It was like I was looking at the entire universe from corner to corner. And it was just a little marble. And then there was this like mother person. It's like, why aren't you enjoying yourself? Why aren't they enjoying themselves? Like she was nagging me. I'm like, oh my God. It's literally the mother of God. And I sat there thinking to myself in this dream, like being completely lucid, like be aware, Roma, you know what this is. You know exactly what this is. And I thought to myself, okay. And I woke up and then I had my doubts that it wasn't it, that it was an entity and it was this and that. And I sat there thinking, okay, so what if it is an entity? What if I'm being duped by the devil, right? What does the devil have to say about this? So I sat there really thinking, really playing devil's advocate with myself, channeling energies I probably shouldn't have been channeling. And I went right into the void and I sat there like at 7 a.m, just laying in bed, like in between waking and sleep. And I'm sitting in this dark fucking place thinking to myself, none of this matters. None of this matters. I can go to the depths, I can go to the heights, I can go any fucking where in this universe and none of it matters. What does matter is that I want a car and I want to go travel the fucking world in an RV and live my life out of a fucking, mobile home. And I want to grow gardens all over the world and I want to like knock sense into people. Like, come the fuck on, you guys. But then I'm thinking, none of it matters. They're all God. They're all going to figure it out eventually. So what do I want to do for fun? And then it like struck me like a fucking lightning bolt. What really fucking matters then? What matters is what you make matter. You're literally here making matter. You're literally here to make nothing that matters. So take that nothing and make something that matters. Take the nothing, poof, here's a star. I made matter. Cards, matter. Beads, crystals, herbs, plants. I made something out of nothing. Does it matter to me? Not really. So why'd I make it? But then I'm gonna go dye my hair with a bottle and then still not get the right color? Why would I do that to myself? It's like self-sabotage, right? Why would I make 300 videos and like barely bring any extra income in and then continue to live a life where, people would perceive it as poverty? Why would I do that? Because nothing matters. So what does matter? A good life experience, right? So why don't I give myself that? Because it doesn't matter. Do you see how we mind loop ourselves? Find something that matters to you and do it. Don't go in a direction, don't pick anything. Sit where you are, think of something that matters to you without moving your body, and go from there.